Hey dreamers, this is Mandy Owen and I'm excited to be back with you to talk more about dreams today. As always, you can find us on YouTube at Mandy Owen, on Facebook at Mandy Owen, or at our website at mandyowenministries.com. We would love to hear more from you and about the dreams that you're having. Dreams are really important to me. The reason that we started this ministry was because the revelation that dreams were not for entertainment purposes really became alive in my life. I started realizing that intercession was tied to the dreams that I was having, and that there was prophetic insight tied to them. And I would start praying into the dreams, and things would start shifting in my life. And so that revelation that these are not just for entertainment purposes really became real to me. And so I wanted to share that with the people around me. I wanted to share that with people that came to me about their dreams, and for them to understand that the Lord is showing you something either for your own life, for warnings or for encouragement or for insight into your own life, or is for someone else. And if we have a prophetic dream about another nation or about someone in our life, it's not just so that we know what's going to happen. The Lord's not just showing us something prophetically just so that we know. He's showing us so that we can take action and that we can activate and align and come into alignment with what He wants done in that situation through prayer, through intercession, through encouragement, and so forth. So I was, with that being said, I'm curious, what are you dreaming about? What are you dreaming about that maybe you're not paying attention to? Recently, I was reading an article about 200 Palestinians that came to Christ in the middle of this war in Gaza, and there were some missionaries there that were ministering to these men that had lost their families, they had lost children, and it's just a very, sad situation to where there was turmoil, and these missionaries were there ministering to these families, and within days, very, very quickly after they were ministering, they had over 200 men come back to them, all saying they had a dream. And their dreams were very similar. They were almost the same dream. And they said, we need to know more about Jesus. And so the Lord was speaking to these men in the middle of this war-torn territory about who He was, about His love, and how to find Him in the middle of darkness. And I thought that was such a beautiful way. Like, the dreams were not for entertainment. The dreams were leading them to Him. And there was also this story. As I was reading this, my daughter sent me also a story about, it's an older story, and it was about Amy Orr Ewing. If you haven't ever heard of her, she's an author, she's a speaker, she has a lot of books, she's an amazing woman of God. But back when she was in school, she was studying theology, and her and her husband and another person that they ministered with were going to go they were going over to see the Taliban, and they were trying to, I think, get an interview with the Taliban. And so they were in London, and before they even went, they were still in their flat. She had a dream. She had a dream that they were going to give Bibles to the Taliban. Now, you guys, I don't know about you, but if I had a dream that I was going to give Bibles to the Taliban or to ISIS or to Hamas or any of those people, I don't know that I would have the courage to really do that, for one, nor would I even have the open door to do that. But she did. She was going over, God ordained it to where they were able to meet with Him. It was a miracle. You can watch her story on YouTube, but there's a lot of miracles involved. But they even got the interview with the Taliban. And her being a female, even being allowed in the room, was also a miracle. But it happened. The fact that they were able to get Bibles into that area was a miracle. So there was miracle after miracle. But it stemmed from a dream that she had. Now, she could have thrown that dream away, and she could have said, that's scary, that's just the Lord telling us we want to pray for him. And she did believe that it was rooted in intercession. She started interceding for the Taliban before she had this dream. But she could have thrown that dream away, and she didn't. She went to her group, and she said, you guys, I just had this dream. And they believed that it was from God. So they took action, and they stepped into that dream. And they went prepared. They bought these New Testament Bibles. They bought some, full-size Bibles, and they took them and they said, "We're going to try." And they tried, and they were able to hand Bibles to the leader of the education, the leader of over the Quran, to the leader that was over the Taliban, and they accepted them. And they not only accepted them, one of them said that I have been praying to Allah for years that someone would bring me a Bible so that I could read about who this Jesus was, and he probably wanted it for educational reasons, but he was thankful to have it. Now, God planted that seed there, and the Bible's there, and there's no telling what has happened with that seed that was planted. But what an amazing testimony that for Amy to be able to stand before God when she goes to heaven and say, Lord, I obeyed you, and I was able to take the Bibles into the Taliban. How many of us may not have had the courage to do that? So I want to encourage you, maybe we don't have an open door to go in to give Bibles to the Taliban or Hamas or to ISIS. But I know I have had dreams about China. I've had dreams about Russia years ago. I've had dreams about nations, about things that I didn't really understand or know how to handle. I didn't know what to do with those dreams. And so what the Lord taught me is I would start praying over them. That he didn't just give me the dream for entertainment purposes. He gave me the dream so I could intercede with him and I could align with him with what his will was for our nation, or for their nation too. So I would start praying for the salvation of the leaders of China. I would pray for the salvation of the leaders of Russia, as well as America, to give us wisdom on know how to protect our nation. So I want to encourage you. What have you dreamed lately? What have you dreamed that seemed way out of line, that maybe was out of your realm of influence? It's not out of your realm of influence. The Lord is saying, I'm giving you these dreams for a reason. I want to encourage you to pray into them, to intercede about them, to ask the Lord, what is it you want me to do with the dream that you've given me today? And maybe it's really big dream. Maybe it is giving Bibles to the Taliban, or maybe it is really doing something that's completely out of your wheelhouse and you're not sure how you could even do it. Ask the Lord and start declaring, how is this going to play out in my life, Lord? I align to you. I'm going to trust you. I am going to step into this. And the Lord's going to open doors for you to go to places that you never thought were possible. So I just want to encourage you guys, keep dreaming. Share with us your dreams. You can find us at MandyOwenMinistries.com. We would love to hear from you. And if you're having a problem, or maybe you don't know how to interpret everything in your dream, we would love to help you. Talk to you soon and see you next time.